Tips for young DJs would be patience, probably. Play the long game, don't rush into anything, and don't feel like you're having to do everything all at once. A bit of a veteran now in this scene, I guess, having touring for kind of nearly 20 years, I would say that patience is the key, you know, and have a kind of, it's not always easy because sometimes people pop off really, really quickly and things happen overnight, it almost seems. But just try and ride that wave consistently rather than too many spikes, because, you know, gradually walking up a hill is a lot more successful than, you know, jumping straight to the top and then falling back down the other side. You know? But they say, don't they, that anything that's an overnight success probably isn't an overnight success. It's been building up to that point, you know. But yeah, you've just got to be patient, which is hard because it feels like, especially with social media and people's attention spans, that everything is so reactive. Of if you don't catch people in 3-4 seconds, they're gone, you know. But yeah, I think overall patience is key with this, you know, this industry.
I want y'all to think about something for a second. DJing is truly an act from God, right? We take our two hands and our imagination and we shift the vibe in the room. We create energy, and we're also making memories memorable for all the attenders in the party. That's something that should be held sacred. DJing is an act of selflessness. It's not always about how we feel, even though we have preferences, but it's about the people. So understand this: doctors heal the body, therapists heal the mind, but the DJ heals the spirit. And it's not about clout, it's about calling. And when God calls you to help people heal through sound, that's sacred. Don't take for granted. Peace.
Creatives, you should stop making content. In fact, you should stop making art for your peers, that is. They're not your assignment and they're not your audience. You should make art for the people who love your art.
You ain't ready to put 5 years of grind into anything without making a quarter.
Right.
Don't even start. Sometimes it takes that long to get over the hump. They're not ready.
I think a lot of people go through this thing where if they share information, they're going to lose their business. They're going to lose their edge. Two things are true in this world. One, there's only one you, and nobody can do what you do, even if they try to copy you one for one. It's never the same. And then two, most people that you give information to won't actually take you up on your information. I could tell people right now how to start a business from scratch, all the pitfalls and all the things you should and you shouldn't do. And you know what? 2% will actually take my advice and use it. The rest of them either know better than me or are too lazy to make it happen.
Before it's time to spin, you've got to first cue it up.
I'm probably in your area too. Everybody who owns a laptop, they're a DJ. Everybody who owns a DSL camera, they're a photographer.
And what I'll do is put up blurbs so therefore you can see what I'm thinking about and why I chose that song. You can see the reaction of the kids. So you can kind of like get an idea of how to use it and what to expect.
Why do you want to charge for something that you have the knowledge of and these other DJs don't have the knowledge of? Share your knowledge, you know?
Right.
But it's DJing's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun too, you know? I'm DJ Mikey Mike. I cover central, northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, parts of New York State.
And I'm Dwayne Dixon, the hitmanddub from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's time to cue it up. What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cue It Up DJ podcast with me, the hitmanddub, and my other co-host, DJ Mikey Mike, won't be on tonight because he has a gig tonight. He's DJing his school dance tonight. I know I have mines tomorrow, and I see Cool Thing is in the chat. He has his tomorrow as well, and I would like to say what's up to Big DJ Services. So our podcast is a podcast for DJs of all skill levels to come connect, learn, and grow. From pro tips to real talk, we're here to support and celebrate the DJ community. So last week we talked about prom playlists. How to find the next hot song for this year's prom, and what were some of those songs that you can play at your prom. And on DJ Cool Thing's show, we found out that some people had tried using a playlist from some of the people I had suggested looking for, and they didn't have any luck with it. So tomorrow I'm going to find out if I was just blowing a bunch of smoke out my rear last week, or does this system really work? But looking at DJ Cool Thing's gig vlogs, whatever formula he had, he eventually got the kids up on the dance floor, and they looked like they had a bunch of fun. But the main key takeaways were DJs to focus on mini sets. So when you're doing a set, I used to go and dump all my songs in one folder, but and then blindly just pick. The suggestion from last week was to think of little mini sets and have your mini sets go like in this kind of formula, where it's 2 to 3 or maybe 4 current tracks that the kids know and are familiar with, like a TikTok trend, a popular TikTok trend, or some urban records like a pop song or a hip hop song, and then end that set with a crossover sing-along or a group dance, and then start the formula over and over and over like that. Then the other biggest takeaway was to understand and analyze students' preferences. Because last week, if you saw a picture of their playlist, they had handwritten notes all over this huge paper that the principal put up on the wall, and it seemed like anybody and everybody could walk up and just request songs, and a lot of the songs was misspelled, and I couldn't understand their handwriting. But the main takeaway with that list was, of course, I'm not going to be able to play all those songs because, of course, middle schoolers want to request songs that are super inappropriate for school. But there are songs that I was able to clean up, so I spent my morning clean up the songs, and I'm glad Virtual DJ has the censor feature in it. So therefore, it helped me speed along with taking out all the bad words. I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of a whole bunch of profanity words, and then I had to tweak the list, and then add some school inappropriate words or slang words to add to the list. And it took out a lot of those words for me. But I still had to do some editing and cleaning up in Serato Studio to like create a quick mix. So that helped me out a lot. And then carefully programming the flow of the event. So think of your event as the doors first opening to a warm-up, like what you will play. Because I know with our event, they'll be serving dinner or some kind of brunch. And then decide what you're going to play during that time to lead into the open dance time, like your peak hour. And then under my peak crate, I have mini crates. I have a Cheeto Girls crates. Those are songs just for the girls that the girls like. I have the Get Crunk Boys crate. I have my sing-along crates, the line dance and dance specific crates, and then I have my my group crates a popular song, the mainstream song that everyone likes. But then after I do the peak hour, I have my wind down crate and my end of the night crate. So hopefully they'll get me through tomorrow. I got my car packed up, and the only thing I have to do is just load up my lights that I'm charging right at this moment. So I'm going to bring up a bunch of up lights, battery powered, because I'm not sure of the layout of the school because they had a bunch of stuff going on. And when I poked my head in there, it wasn't set up the same. So I just figured it's easier for me to bring the battery powered Rockville mini halos, slim pars, and the mini RF1s. And then I'm gonna finally use my Rockville moving heads. So I got that, and then I'm gonna bring my glow tubes and put the glow tubes on my gravity stands and all that kind of stuff. So it should be a fun day tomorrow. So let's go to tonight's. Tonight's topic is, it always do that button. I don't know why it does this. I'm gonna try this button one more time. Let me do this. Yo, hold up. Every now and then, I come across something in the DJ world that makes me stop and go,
Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say hold up, 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 hold up.
say what? This is that segment where we tap into the DJ streets. A post, a video, a take that got people talking. And I had to bring it here to the Cue It Up DJ podcast, so we can break it down, call it out, and see where the culture really stands on it. Was it lit or was it trash? Was it facts or straight cap? So I gotta ask you all, everybody in the chat, say what? Let's get into it. Okay, so as I was trying to prepare for my gig on Friday, I really don't look at YouTube. Like look at YouTube. I have YouTube playing in the background, and I see DJ Cool Thing was busy this week. I've seen Diego's been busy. The Shuffle couple been busy, and I also noticed that DJ Mikey Mike has been busy this week dropping videos. So I came across two of his videos, and two of his videos were talking about micro weddings. So I thought micro weddings just meant having a smaller setup, just like Brian S. Red was always talking about trying to make his setup micro, like his ceremony setup, so he doesn't have to bring a lot of equipment. It's easy to set up and break down. So that's what my mind was at every time I hear micro wedding. But after watching Mikey Mike's video, he had a different take on it. And once I watched his videos, it made me think about all the Facebook posts that I've been seeing and a couple of my inquiries that have came in my inbox on Wedding Wire. And his take was, micro wedding has become like the term that clients use or couples use. And when they say micro wedding, it's almost like a code word for trying to hire a DJ at a micro, price package. And it made me think, it's like, after watching that video, I guess he has a point. I have started to notice that a lot of couples are price hunting, and it's more so, I definitely noticed that the guest list has decreased. So you might, for me, I've started to see a lot of guest lists being about 80, maybe 100. If it's like 150 or 130, when I first meet the couple, that's what their guest list will be. But about time we get to that final consultation call and planning, and we get closer to the event, the numbers end up dropping drastically. So what about you all? What size weddings have you all noticed in your all's region? Because I do notice that everybody's cutting back on as far as having a huge guest list. And I know Buddy's going to join us later on too, so he's going to go more in depth, because I know that we had talked about this on the round table. So it's for you all, is a micro wedding, does that just mean a smaller setup for you? Or does that also mean a smaller price tag? Because the debate that we had on the round table, I think it was like last month, was for us, for me, I still charge the same. It's just, I have 3 packages. I have my lowest, or you could say my good, better, and best practice. And Buddy said his last wedding was 160, and his wedding this weekend is 77. Yeah, because I had looked at, for me, because price never really came to my mind, because I'll admit I was that budget DJ doing the wedding for $500, $700. So the price of doing a micro wedding or a wedding period, it didn't come into effect until I decided to go up on my prices. And then the hardest part for me when I tried to go up on my prices was to stick to that price. And see what else. Cool Thing said, I barely do weddings, but my price and setup is all the exact same. So it doesn't matter with the size of the wedding, because that's how I was. I didn't have like a special price, a special setup or price. It's just, what do you want me to do? That's basically the question that I have for the client. Because even though it can be, let's say you could call it a micro wedding where it's only a few people, but still, if my preparation and everything that I have to bring, my equipment and all that is still the same, I don't see where my prices should drop. I may give you a lower package, but it won't be a drastic drop, because then there was a lot of times my first year after retiring and trying to do DJing full time, and then when I was trying to go up and to be a higher level DJ, there was many times I took jobs that I felt I was taken advantage of, or I came out feeling empty. Even though I got paid, I felt the work that I put into it didn't balance out to what I took home. And then too, it wasn't until I started hanging out with a bunch of other DJs that was at that higher tier and giving me advice and just being on like the round table and talking to them. I really didn't look at like what it cost me to leave my house. Like everything from as simple as gas or equipment, even subscriptions, because that's the one thing, if I was to really sit down and think about it, that's where all of my money pretty much goes to all these different subscriptions and all that. So it's like little things like that I didn't take into account. And then that's what once I heard that from them, that's what I started to try to do. And then actually I had no choice, because then once I decided to get insurance, the insurance asks you to itemize your equipment so you can figure out about how much coverage do you need. So that's when I sat down and actually put down what equipment I had and how much it's worth and all that. But until Buddy comes on, I'm going to have to be like Cool Thing. I'm going to have to refer to my notes, so forgive me if you see me reading. I'm not going to read to you all, but it's just so I can stay on topic and not ramble, since I don't have anybody here to bounce ideas off of. And if you all have any comments or ideas in the chat, don't hesitate to drop them in, because tonight it's probably going to be the night that I pretty much read a lot of the chat on time and not a half hour later. But Buddy says he has a package for 80 guests or less. It's still $1,500 plus ceremony for $700, smaller setup and sound system. And let's see what else. Okay, yeah, because that's basically how mine is. Because the one that I'm doing, the wedding that I'm doing next month, it wasn't, I looked while we were talking, and when he was saying that it wasn't going to be a lot of people there, and he didn't need anything fancy. It was going to be outside, so therefore I didn't need lighting and all that. I just need to bring the music, and basically bring the music, handle the timeline, and make sure everything flow. And then also because he understood that the ending, when the party or the reception ends, they don't have a lot of time to vacate the venue. So he took that into account. So therefore I didn't have to bring a lot of gear, but at the same time, I wouldn't say I cut my prices. While he was talking, I leaned towards my lower price, and especially since we didn't need to do ceremony and all that, I leaned to my lower price. And then more and more he talked, I tried to find an even ground between my lower and middle or my better package. And so we met halfway. So therefore I'm not throwing everything away. And I see Sean, DJ Night Owl is in the chat. And eventually, Sean, I'm going to open up that box, because it's like I want to do a real unboxing as I do it. So that's the only reason I haven't opened that box yet. But hopefully after, I keep saying that, but hopefully after I get finished with next week's gigs, I'll be able to get do that video for you. Now, I need to also spread out some stuff, because I have a whole bunch of stuff. Because I got the photo booth. I also bought the lights and mic stands, so I can, just like the ones that it's almost like glow tubes, but it's just little photo lights. And Sean has shown me some pictures of how people handle their lighting for their photo booth. So I got that to unbox. I bought another Mackie Thump Ghost, so I have 2 of those. And I bought something else. What else did I buy? But it's like a bunch of stuff. It was like Christmas all over. So I have a whole bunch of Amazon boxes downstairs. Oh yeah, I have an iPad. So I have a whole bunch of unboxings that I'm going to do. I guess I'll just do it all at one time, and I'll probably just do it live, because I won't have time to do like a special edit or anything. So I'll just do it live. So if you see a live saying unboxing, that's what I'll be doing. I'll just be spending a whole bunch of time doing the unboxings for you all. But getting back to our episode. So our episode is micro wedding. So micro weddings automatically equal micro price. So again, I have noticed that especially lately on Facebook, there's a lot of couples posting on Facebook that they looking for either the budget DJ, or they say they have a budget, or they use words like small, intimate wedding, or they say it's at a small event, but they use keywords that kind of like give off budget. They looking for that budget DJ, not exactly someone, even a mid-tier, because mid-tier is kind of like pushing it. The mid-tier would be like your 1,200 to 2,000 kind of DJs, 2,000s and overs. They seem like they don't, I guess it's almost like people that look for DJs on Bark or Thumbtack or Gig Salad or any of those. It's like you can almost bet that certain platforms seems to appeal to a certain clientele. And going back to my story about when I was trying to level up and go from that budget DJ price to my mid-tier price, it's like it was hard to stay disciplined, because you're used to being a budget DJ, and especially if you're new to it, you always want everybody that call you, you always want to try to be nice and appeal to the client. And by me being a teacher, that's what we try to do. We always try to be a people pleaser. But what I found out quickly was being a people pleaser would get you screwed big time, because there are people that are good at talking their way to, I guess you could say, their budget or the money that they want. And if you're not careful, if you want to be a people pleaser, it's easy for clients to reach out to you and talk you down, or have you offering discounts or giving stuff away. And that was a hard lesson I had to try to learn and get out of. And yeah, I would say it was kind of tough, especially the beginning of the year, when I would give my price to people and people would say I was out of their budget, or they'll start, you could tell that they're price shopping. And I was kind of like, got to the point where I was kind of like getting scared, because I wasn't getting booked. And I was used to at least being constant. But the thing was, when you're sure about your self-worth and what you're worth, then it's easy to quote them your price and stick to it. Because first of all, if you know your self-worth, then you know, again, how much it costs for you to leave the house or go do this gig. But the other thing that I had to do also was, knowing your self-worth is one thing, but you also got to make sure that all your marketing and promotions, and even the way that you talk and present yourself, and even on down to the words that you say, it exemplifies your worth. Because one thing I didn't know I did until I started recording myself. When I started recording my consultation calls, and then I'll bring it over to AI to have them critique me, I didn't realize I was using a lot of budget DJ lingo. Mentally, I wasn't trying to do that, but because it was a habit, I was a zoo budget. And so therefore, I either get the budget clients or I get the pushback on my prices. Because either when I quoted them my price, again, saying a price and meaning what you say about that price or your package, there are two different things. Because I also found out that I'll say a price, but I said it in a way that I wasn't sure of myself, or it sounded like it's almost like making a statement, but you say a statement, but it sounded like your statement is a question. And so I found myself opening myself up to a lot of going back and forth with the clients and being always being questioned about the price or trying to be pulled down. And then Cool Thing says, I remember that a couple of years ago at 5th grade dance, they asked if I can get paid a lower price than my normal price, and I accepted the offer, then I got the gig. Yeah, sometimes it's like, it depends on what your end goal is. Because it's just like Sean had mentioned it, and he made a good point when he was on our show, and then when he's on the round table. He's like, if you get booked a lot, and now I heard this from other people too, if you're constantly getting booked at your price, that might mean that your prices are too low. And again, I could see over the years after being on the round table, when I first heard that, I didn't understand that. It didn't make sense to me until after I started getting out there and having experience dealing with clients and doing consultation calls and closing bookings, that I understood what he was saying at that point. It's like if you always gifting your services, it's just like the comment I made the other day. You're the gift that keeps on giving. If you're always discounting yourself, you'll always be that discount person. So you can always set your prices up here, but what sense does it make to set your price at a certain point, but then offer discounts? Or I see a lot of DJs do that. They offer a huge amount off their regular price. And then someone has said, I can't remember if it was Buddy or my DJ coach or Kevin. There was somebody that had mentioned, if when you do that, then that tells the client that tells the client would think, okay, is this the price or is this the real price? And then that's when you start to get questioned about your prices. And then Cool Thing said the reason why they asked that it was not the school budget it was not in the school budget at that time, and everything went well on the day at the event. Yep, that's the only thing about working with schools, because sometimes schools have budgets that they have to work with, especially elementary schools and middle schools. So you got to work within their budget. But then I always say, make sure when you're doing those kind of gigs, even though it may be monetary, like at that time, free or discounted, always have an end goal or a means to the end. Don't just do a free gig just to be doing a free gig. Because I watch those kind of gigs. When I go into it, I'm looking to either do those gigs, knock out the park, and then in return, get those Google reviews. That's how I was able to get a whole bunch of Google reviews in a short span, which I got to get back to doing. Or there's a possibility that doing a lower gig now could get my foot in the door to get repeat business, then eventually work my way up. So it's like you have to make sure that you have a business plan for doing those kind of gigs. Because sometimes, again, if you keep doing things at discount prices, then you'll always remain at that discount level. So the next segment I want to talk about is what is a micro wedding and why are they trending? Again, this was something as I was preparing for tonight's show. I wasn't expecting to do this by myself, but hey, it is what it is. But seemed like micro weddings seem to pop up more after the pandemic. And that was pretty much because once we were able to have parties after the pandemic, you couldn't have a large amount. Either you had to limit who you had there, you had to make sure everybody's spread out, or the numbers could be more, but you still had to be masked, but it had to be outside. Because I remember doing a wedding in August, after the after the ban was lifted, and we still had to wear masks, but you could take the mask off when you was outside, take the mask off until people were around. And I did notice the numbers was low, but with that one, they had it at a good event, but that was an event where the couple didn't know what a timeline was, and there was nothing I could do about it, because one, I didn't meet with the couple. I picked this up as a emergency DJ, but the couple, what made this one interesting was the couple never showed up at the event on time because they were busy taking pictures. So there's nothing that we could do but wait, which also threw everything off, because at this event they had caterers there, and caterers, in order to prepare the food, if you ever watch like Hell's Kitchen, where everything has to be timed, where certain things have to be plate, and then something else has to be plate, to make sure when you send the plates out that everything is not cold. So they screwed up the dinner portion, and they also screwed up they basically screwed up their whole event, because they had this big send-off that they couldn't do because they spent so much time taking pictures instead of showing up at the event. The event got mad, and right at the cutoff time, 10 minutes before, there was like, at 10 o'clock, everything has to be off. And they stood there with the extension cord ready to pull it, and everything at 10 o'clock, the lights and everything just went out on that patio. So that was an interesting thing. But again, that one, and also during that time, the pandemic, you have to get tested and all that. And speaking about tests, the second outdoor event that I had after the pandemic was a huge one, but it was outside again. That one, I was kind of like nervous because I tested positive, and my quarantine kind of like ended just before it was time to do their wedding. But they said that everything was cool with it, because pretty much all of them had got the shot and everything. So that was another cool couple that I had worked with. But working outside, it was like they had a lot of people, but I wouldn't say they wanted a micro wedding. They had money, so they paid me well, and they gave me a nice tip. And this one, I think I did a gig vlog on this one too. It's the one where they have this community, I forget what you call it. They have this like community group. It wasn't a gated community, but they did have like a block organization, and they had this field and hills right by the lake, and the people there had boats that they would go out and fish on the lake, go swimming on the lake, and they had this big gazebo, and caterers, they had these big, huge stoves and everything. So that was a nice setup. So, and there was a partying group. But again, going back to what they said about micro weddings, they said micro weddings surged post-COVID, and why they're still popular today, I guess a lot has to do with budgets. Hey, Will, I see Will is in the chat. So you have a lot of price shoppers, because everything has gone up big time. Everything from gas, because gas now is $5. That's why I'm glad I have a motorcycle to ride. Food definitely has gone up. But it seemed like everything is going up double and almost triple, except for a lot of DJ prices. And I want to make sure I wasn't one of them. But again, I was hoping that DJ Mikey Mike was going to be here because I wanted to hear him elaborate more on what he was talking about in his video. And then sometimes they say micro weddings, a lot of people just want that intimate kind of feeling. And that's what my wedding in June, that's what he wanted. Wanted something to be intimate, just basically a small group of close friends, and not like a bunch of people that you kind of like, almost acquaintances. So, and that's what I was trying to get my wife to do when we got married, because one, I was looking at the money. I was like, we should just stick with our close friends and family. And then also, when you think about it, when you have a huge wedding, I've seen a lot of people spend money on plates and venues to hold a certain amount of people, and they lost a lot of money because a lot of people didn't come. So that's why probably micro weddings is a big thing now, because everybody's trying to hold on to a budget, and again, everything is super high, and housing is super high, so they're trying to hold on to their little money. So the real cost and breakdown of a DJ. So what DJ should think about when taking on a gig, period, whether it be a micro gig or a huge gig or whatever kind of gig it is. Think about your equipment. So if I was to break it down, I have like 2 ELX speakers. I'm just going to throw out a number. I forget how much I paid, but those is like a $500 to $600. If you get 2 of those, that's $1,200 right there. A sub, add another 5 to 6 or even $750. So now you're looking at, for a whole system, that's a basic 2 speakers and a subsystem, you can get anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. And I'm just thinking, I'm not saying the big, huge speaker systems that everybody's on like the round table will be talking about. I'm just talking about a decent speaker system that's going to run you anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000. Even the budget ones that they mentioned on James King's show. Even those, if you think about it, what is it? 3, what do you say? Let's say 400. 2 of those is 800. And then you still got to buy cords. You still got to buy other accessories like bags. Think about the bags. Because again, if you're doing weddings, you don't want to come in with your gear all scratched up. So you got to buy something to protect your investments. So when you start talking about the bags can run between $50 to $100 right there. So with the speaker system alone, that's the speakers. You're looking at, again, $1,000 to $2,000. Not to mention the tripods. You can get something as simple as something that's online at Amazon, or I think it's Stage Pro. It's the generic brand that like Sam's music store had, or Guitar Center. You can get those, but again, when you think about when you invest in your equipment and your gear, you get what you pay for. There are some things you can cut corners on, and it'll pan out for you. But a lot of things you cannot cut corners on. You get what you pay. So if you think about a decent stand, let's say roughly, I'm just going to round it up, $100. If you get a hydraulic stand, if you have like a huge speaker that you want to lift up, you think let's say roughly between $150 to $200. Get 2 of those. Again, that's almost like two of those, you're looking at about 4 or 5. But then if you start getting lights and all that, lights can run you, especially battery operated, again, $500, $600, $700. And again, this is not the top of the line, because there's top of the line gear, and Buddy and all of them, they can tell you about that. I'm not there yet. I'm in the middle. I'm not doing budget, but I'm still trying to be economical with what I buy. So still, when you start adding all that, add all that stuff up, thousands and thousands of dollars, you can easily get to $10,000. Easily can get to $20,000. Again, when you start buying your cases for those gear, not to mention what kind of controller or what kind of mixing equipment do you have. So a Pro controller can run you, again, in between $1,000 to $2,000. You can probably find some decent ones or smaller compact ones between $600-800. But still, once you get that, you don't want to come in with the same box that you bought it in. You want to get some kind of flight case or a case to put it in so it look nice. And again, to protect your equipment. So again, that's going to run you a couple of $100 depending on what you get. And then cords. Even you buy the cheap cords, you always going to have to buy cords. You can never have enough cords. Cords, adapters, the audio adapters being 1/4 inch, you can never have enough of those adapters. Batteries don't seem like they cost a lot when you buy them in small packs, but when you dealing with wireless mics and all that, you go through batteries like what? So all those adds up. Again, going back to your subscriptions, your DJ pools can run you like $80 or more, a couple of $100. Subscriptions to Spotify, Tidal, whatever streaming service you use, that adds up. So all that, when you think about it, that runs you a lot of money. So again, going back to what Sean has said on our show when we did the photo booths, when you buy equipment, and I think Cleveland Terry has said this too, their rule of thumb is they try to get equipment that they know that they'll be able to get a return on their investment within 3 months, maybe 5 at the most. So again, think about that when you going and you buying equipment or buying this or purchasing this or investing in your business. Think about what you're spending and what you're losing. So are you running a business to make money, or are you running a hobby that you call in the business? Because a hobby is something that you like doing, but you like doing it whether you make money or not. So that's the thing that you gotta kind of like look at, because there's a lot of people that talks about having a DJ company, and they do the whole logo and whole company names and this, that, and the other, but they don't run their I guess you could say their I don't want to call it a business because they're not making money. Their venture. I call it their venture. They don't run their venture as a business, because a business is all about making money. And it's just like going back to any place that you go and buy stuff. Or let's say like a car dealership where you can go and negotiate a price. Or sometimes even with going into the music store, because there's music stores that can like match price. Or there's a couple of times there's people that I've knew that worked at a music store that would give me a discounted price, but at the same time, the price that is on the shelf is not the price that and I forget what it's called. It's the suggested retail price, but then there's a bottom line price that they get it for. So they definitely do not discount anything that falls below that discount price that costs them to go get that price. Cool Thing says, I personally not in it for the money, but I'm in it to perform in front of a crowd and play music. Money is not important to me. Yep, there are some people that does that. And I'll get back to that comment in a second. Will says, what makes a wedding a micro wedding? Amount of people or the setup? That's where I was confused at, Will, because that's what I was thinking. A micro wedding was the amount of people or your setup, because at the time, again, going back to what I said earlier, Brian, that's the way I first heard it, and I started hearing it trend after Brian did a video on his micro setups. And I thought micro setups was gear. He was like the size of his gear and the amount of gear that he's bringing was his micro setup, or making it more compact. That's what I thought I shouldn't say micro setup, a micro wedding was. Being able to use that compact gear for a micro wedding, but you still charge the same. So I just thought it was a DJ term, meaning micro wedding, meaning I'm bringing a smaller gear. And then after watching DJ Mikey Mike's video and then it made me think, and I'm starting to look at these Facebook posts differently. Micro weddings seem to be the number of people, and also to take it a step further, there are some clients or couples that are looking for a small price because they only have a few people. So it's almost like they want you to give them a reception ceremony kind of package deal for something that you might charge for a private party, like a backyard party or something. And so that's what we're going to dive in deeper. Buddy's coming as soon as he gets finished with his consultation call. And a nuke 9868, welcome to the show. And he says, the setup for me, been doing them for years, and it's mostly my same rate regardless. And that's what I was saying earlier too, because I don't really change. I might put him down to a smaller tier, but basically it's still, I don't discount and go below my rate, because it's like, again, I was saying, trying to level up, I had to change my way of thinking, because if I try to level up at my new price and then keep going back closer to my old prices, mentally, I'll never get my new prices level that I'm trying to get. I would never get it ingrained in my head. So therefore, I could never convey that to my clients that I'm talking to. And again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. There's a lot of clients that would try to talk you down from your prices. And sometimes I'm wondering, because I'm speaking on personal experience, because I know for a fact, after I started using AI to like give me feedback on my consultation recordings that I've done, I noticed that I gave mixed messages where I was quoting one thing, but the way that I was presenting it didn't match up to that price, or it didn't live up to that price that I was trying to quote, or I was using buzzwords that spelled more budget friendly as opposed to more of that higher tier price. And a nuke, I hope I'm saying your name right. 9868 said, I sell the experience, not the gear. That's the main thing I had to learn. And that's what my feedback was always. Because I always got into pricing. Instead of talking about the experience, they would say to my client or couple would say something, and I always went to, well, since you can't meet this price, maybe you'll fit in this package better, because with this costs this costs that, and start bringing it more focused on the money and not the experience that they're going to have. So that was the hard thing for me to learn, and I'm still trying to do that. I don't fall into that habit as much, but yeah, that was the hardest thing for me to do. And he says, just bring what is needed for wherever space. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. I can do a small space or back up an 18-wheeler and do an outdoor concert. Yeah, and that's the other thing that I have to think about, because I'm getting into this is like the second time within a year that I had a huge car expense, repair expense. And so I'm driving a 2017 Traverse. So I'm at the point where if it's one of those things where I'm going to be paying a large repair bill on a regular, I might as well get another vehicle. And the Traverse was nice for me, for where I was at that time and leveling up, but I can see that my next vehicle getting something bigger, because now I'm at that age where looks doesn't really mean that much to me anymore. I used to, when I was looking for a car, was trying to find a cool looking car, the sporty looking car, and not the old timer car. But now it's like, being that I'm adding more to my gear, I need something bigger. And I also would like to have something where I don't have to constantly grab things, put things in the car, and then take things out the car, then put things back in the car and all that stuff. I would rather have a dedicated vehicle for my equipment. So therefore I can just roll up to no matter what event it is and have all of my stuff there and easily run out and grab wherever I need and run back into the venue. Because right now it's like I have to do a checklist and make sure I check that list 2, 3, 4 times to make sure I don't leave anything, because my space is limited. I see DJ Mikey Mike is in the chat. He says he's getting a U-Haul truck. Yep, I also had looked at those. They U-Haul, if you don't know, U-Haul will they have a website where they sell their trucks. So how did your gig go, Mike? Yeah, he should be driving home. But yeah. Now I'm starting to sound like the other YouTubers that be gig vlogging. Every time they're talking, they'll say, and when they don't have anything to say, they'll be like, and I'll come back with you all with an update once I get everything set up. Yeah. But yeah, understanding your cost, what it costs for you to go out and do these events. Because if you actually sat down and really priced out everything, you'll be amazed. And I guess I avoid doing it because I don't want to see exactly what I had spent. And Mikey Mike said he just packed up. Also, you gotta look at travel. And that's what I had to start doing with my prices. I had to start, because a lot of my events was happening more so down Columbus way. And I was end up finding myself driving an hour to an hour and a half or more to an event. So I had to start upping my prices, and when I up my price, also I try not to do travel expense as a add-on or a separate entity. I try to put that into my packages, but there are events where they go past my limit, where I do have an add-on. So that's something else I had to do to up my price. And again, looking at insurance, when you do get gig insurance and you're looking at your equipment, you have to like determine how much your equipment is, and then make sure you get that amount of coverage. So I didn't know, knowing your worth, mindset and positioning. I've been talking about that all night. That was a growing experience. Again, knowing how much you're worth and making sure it's more than just knowing how much you're worth. And it's much more than setting a price based on what your gear is. Because I hear a lot of people saying, I up my price because I have to buy this gear, or I have to pay bills for this gear and all that stuff. So it's much more than just DJing to pay off your gear. It's just for me to do an event and I give you a good price, let's say on the discount side, and to see that or to hear that everybody else is getting buku of money, I don't know how it makes you all feel, but it makes me feel a certain kind of way. Especially when you look and you're like, I did all this work before, I did all this work setting up, I bought all this equipment, I stood on my feet the entire time, I did all the work, and I had to break down. And for this person to not really do that much, but they getting this amount for what they did, it made me feel a certain kind of way, especially last year, because I did a few of those. I let people talk me down, and they was like, well, we're going to do a 60th birthday party, and it's going to be intimate, and we're on a budget. I only have a budget of $250, and it's not going to be long. So do you think you can work with that? I was like, okay, since it's not going to be that long, okay, I'll do it. That was a big mistake. That was a big mistake, because once I got there, first of all, the venue was on a golf resort. Right there, the people that's within that little community, within that gated community, those are some expensive houses. Two, when you got in there, everything was catered. I mean, like real catering, not the little, they come in the little truck catering kind of. I mean, like catering with the fancy plates and the whole nine and the buffet line, and it was that. I know they paid a good amount of money for that. They had a line dance person come in, teach them 2 dances, I believe. He did 2 dances. He did Boots on the Ground, and he did another dance. But then I think that dance was something, he just led that dance, because they pretty much knew it. No, I take that back. He taught it. He taught that dance. But it was like something that a lot of the people already knew. So I know he charged at least $400, because he charged that amount for another gig that I DJ'd at. And the person told me how much he paid for him just to come there and do the quick 2 line dances, and then he's out. So I'm like, there's no way I shouldn't have charged no $250 for that amount. Never discount like that because it's never appreciated. Yep, exactly. I used to see guys book every night, not because they were great, but because they were the cheapest in town, and it does get around. Exactly. And that's the one thing I've learned. And again, it was one of those things I had to keep the faith. And there were a lot of people saying, you need to charge this. You're worth it. And they told me to stick to my guns because there was a lot of people that were calling me because they heard that I DJ at the $500 price, or I'm easy to work with, or I'm a budget-friendly DJ. I even had the audacity when I updated my website before I retired, when I thought about retiring, trying to go into DJing, to put as my calling line on my website. So how did I put it? If you're looking for a DJ that is at your budget-friendly price, but for the luxury experience, I'm your person, or it was something along those lines. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but I'm glad I didn't put that up there because that was so terrible. Again, you're showing budget DJ, and that's the kind of clients and that's the kind of events that will be calling and knocking on your door. Especially if you're good and you're doing it at budget prices, it'd be just like what Nuke 9868 says. The word gets around and you get that reputation. And because I had that reputation, it took a second for people to accept me for a higher tier level DJ. But again, it also goes back to I couldn't just change the way I talk. I couldn't change the way I did things. I also had to change the way that, again, I keep saying this over and over and over and over, because goes back to what Tom said from Wedding Wire, that clients look for you in 4 different spots before they even call you. Even after they call you, they're also doing research. Or, again, like on Wedding Wire, a lot of times when you get an inquiry, you're not the only DJ that they're reaching out for. They're usually shopping and comparing DJs. So you got to make sure, if you want to be a DJ and be looked at a certain level, you got to make sure that you present yourself at a certain level. You got to make sure the things that you post showcase that you're a DJ at that certain level. You also got to make sure that the way that your setups look, or your website look, the wording look, or the wording sounds and all that, it has to exemplify the kind of DJ or the tier that you want to promote or try to sales to. Because if you don't, that's when you get the people trying to talk you down. Adrian E's in the chat. Welcome, Adrian E. And Nuke said, not Nuke, yeah, Nuke 9868 said Nuke. So you don't have to say that long tag. But I don't think it was that long, but at the same time, remember, I was the budget DJ. I wouldn't say I was a beginner DJ. I had a beginner DJ as far as business minded sense, a sense of business. So I thought, in my eyes, there's a lot of new DJs. When they become DJs, they emulate what they think a real DJ is, or they emulate someone that they see on YouTube. So I thought, being a DJ, I had to have certain gear or certain lights, or I have to say certain things. So I had that simple minded, non-experienced DJ mindset, and it showed. And it showed without me really knowing it showed. And that's why I had a hard time getting booked at the level that I'm getting booked at now, because I had to flip my way of thinking, flip all that script, all that stuff off the screen, discounted or budget. I had to get that out my system, all of my social media and all that. But also I'm saying, I'm not taking a dig at any DJ that is on that level or doing that. You do what's best for you, because if at the end of the day, it's still all about, do you feel that you're being fulfilled at the end of the day? So if you want to charge that amount or do the discounted, kind of things, then that's on you, and who am I basically to tell you you're not a good DJ or you're bad for doing that? Because at the same time, I was that person at one time. So, and that's why I kind of like took offense, especially Buddy remembers when I was first on the round table, and there were certain comments that was made when they equate a $500 DJ with a crappy DJ, because that was not the case. Just because they charge that amount doesn't mean that they're a crappy DJ. They just happy with just doing that and gigging and just being busy all the time. But at the same time, I had a full-time job that was paying well. So again, DJing at that time was like a second thought. It was a hobby. I was a bedroom DJ, and the way I moved, it showed that. Yep, and Nuke 9868 says, "Nah, it's always going to be a journey, fam. It's just dues and learning from each experience." And that's exactly what I experienced, and that's exactly how I got to where I am now. You're doing a great job, Dwayne. Yep, I didn't think I can ramble. I'm just rambling right now. It's 10:15. I didn't think I can go that long. But I guess it's from I picked up a bunch of pointers from DJ Cool Thing. He's the master of jumping on live and just going at it. Yep, and Mikey Mike says, "Stay firm on your price." Yeah, but the one thing that gave me encouragement when I had turned down a lot of those budget gigs within the last year was that they acknowledged my pricing, and they would say something along the lines of, "Yes, I understand your pricing, and you're out of our budget," and they acknowledge my, the work that I do. Or they'll say, "Well, right now we can't finance your services," but they'll give me like encouragement to keep on going. So it wasn't like they just blew me off because I was overcharging. That's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't like I got the message from them that I was overcharging or I wasn't worth. They was letting me know that my services is worth that, and they can't afford my services. Thanks, cool thing. Again, it's like I learned from the best. You're the king of going live. He was probably. I bet you, cool thing is probably going live right now, because I don't know how he did it last week. It's like he was chatting in the chat, and then I look up and I see a notification that cool thing is waiting for me on Facebook while he's going live, and he's still holding on to the #1 spot. All right, so yeah, knowing your self-worth, and then again, it comes through experiences. But at the same time, you gotta also understand what you want to get out of your DJing. Because again, it's nothing wrong with DJing. If you see DJing as a hobby, or a bedroom DJ, yeah, then go for it. If that's what makes you happy, just DJing is providing a service, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just make sure you still should provide good services regardless. Whether you 500, 10 million, or a free DJ, you still want to provide good services. How to respond to lowball inquiries. So you all in the chat, how do you respond to lowball inquiries? Because this is something that I had to learn. Let me pin this in the chat. Because my first instinct, again, being a music teacher or being a teacher, period, your thing is you always taught, especially if you have an irate parent, they have this, I think it's a 5-step system called HEART, 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 where you got to hear the problem, be empathetic, apologize. You got to listen, then respond. And then what was T? T was, it wasn't taught. T was something. But basically, you try to, again, be a people pleaser. And being a people pleaser and being a sales person, that doesn't always mix. And that you can be lowballed all the time and be screwed around. Let me put this question. How do you respond to lowball inquiries? Because that's something I'm still trying to get down myself. Because my first thing is to get into a conversation. And there are people that are good at pausing. And I'm getting there, where after I say how much their investment is going to be, then I learn to sit back and pause and don't talk. But how do you all handle people that says, well, you can hear the hesitation in the voice, or they'll say, we'll get back with you after I talk to X, Y, or Z, or we have other vendors that we are looking at. So how do you all handle that? Because I'm still trying to learn that part. How to do it without sounding desperate or needy or, underselling myself. Okay, Newt 9868 says, but they can't afford you. That's fine too. But a lot of times they can afford you, but still fishing for a lower price point. Most of the time, I wish them well and to contact me if anything changes. Okay? And then I'm trying to see. Mikey Mike says, I just tell them my price. I'm not sure if that was the early one, if I read it earlier. Yeah, but for me, it kind of depends. If it's like for example, my top tier price. Here come buddy. Let me finish my top tier price includes ceremony, like ceremony coverage, reception, and which includes cocktail hour, dance floor lighting, the whole shebang, all the bells and whistles. And if they kind of like balk at that top tier price, that I would ask them. I try to sell them on the experience. Then I ask them what is holding them back, why are there what is their hesitation, or I might ask see where we can maybe take things out. So if it's one of those things where they're doing all three things, ceremony and cocktail hour and reception, if it's one of those things where they're doing it and it's all in one room, where I don't have to do an extra setup and all that, I do have a lower tier below that I try to go for, try to get them at that price. Or if it's one of those things where if they don't need all the extra bells and whistles and everything, if it's basically less things I have to do, then I might try to find an in-between space in between my middle package and my upper package. And Nuke 9868 says, I've asked a bottom line question. What can we do to make your experience successful at what budget you have? It can be done with less equipment, options, etc. Okay. So I guess that's where you can get. I kind of do that, but I guess where I mess up is instead of the way that you frame it, it's almost like you framing it to have the clients do the talking and give you the answers, as opposed to the way I used to do it. I automatically start talking too much and telling them what I can take out, as opposed to letting them do the talking and not digging myself into a hole. That's basically what I've found myself doing a lot of times. So we'd like to welcome our guest. It's been a long time, Buddy from TBM Productions and the DJ Roundtable. Did you catch the last question, Buddy? It is basically the pinned question. So how do you respond to clients trying to lowball you or talk you down?
All right, so the one guy saying, what budget you have, how can I make your experience? That right there, to me, is you're negotiating and you don't have firm pricing. Perfect example, the couple we just talked to, they are doing a ceremony in the same room as a reception, and they're between two packages because one package is their size, if they get the people that I think they're going to get. The other one is the amount of people they're actually asking to come to the reception. I got a feeling they're going to go to the smaller package because they're asking for 150 people, but they'll probably get like 120, so they'll go to a smaller package. The thing is, you shouldn't really say, okay, fine and great, what price you're looking for. That's almost like used car-ish, and you're giving away what you have. You should be kind of firm in your pricing. If you don't believe in your pricing, then put pricing that you believe in. If you're putting pricing out there and people are like, oh no, I want to do this, they're not your customer. If it's like, hey, I want a discount, I don't discount. What I'll do is I'll give you something in replacement. Like, again, for them, I don't need all the equipment, so taking a ceremony and saying, okay, fine, great, I'm not doing as much is one thing. less work. But if I'm doing the same amount of work and they're asking for a discount on it, no. You know, why am I giving you a discount? Because it's your wedding? Hey, great. It's no different than your boss coming to you if you work a regular job and saying, hey, on Wednesdays, I need you to get paid $15 an hour versus your normal pay. You're going to be like, what do you mean, Wednesday? I still got to do the same job? So I said, well, yeah, you get to do all your job the same, but I'm just going to pay you $15 an hour. And right now you're making 30. And they're going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to get paid the same amount. So you should be the same way in your business.
I wish we can be like, I was going to say, I wish when you was talking, I was like sitting here like, I wish as teachers we can say that, because we get more than piled on top of us other responsibilities beyond what we get paid for and our duties. So I was thinking, man, I wish I could have been like that to my boss, my principal boss.
Again, it all boils down to where you work at, what kind of job you have. Mm-hmm. But it's adding on additional, jobs onto your job. Yeah, it kind of stinks when they do that, but what can you do?
Retire.
Well, there you go. You're like, hey, that's it. I'm out here. But again, as far as someone asking for a discount, how do you respond for lowball inquiries? Ever since I put my pricing on my website, I've really reduced the amount of lowball inquiries to my business. So it really does help having a price out there, not having the price on your website. And this is one of the things, the woman who I just talked to, she goes, I see your pricing. And I walk through things, I showed her pictures of stuff that I've done, some of the weddings I've done with some of the lighting and stuff like that, and why I'm that price. She goes, I see what you do. I see what you do with this. I understand why you're charging that. Some people have no realization. That's the other part. They think, he's just playing music, so $500 is fine, or $1,000 is fine. When they're asking you to do all this work, and that's, again, a small wedding, that's 50, 60 people. You have one speaker up, and they're asking you to basically do cocktail and do some dinner music and like an hour or two of dancing. Okay, I could see a lower price for that because it's really, really basic. They're not doing none of the other things. Okay, that's up to you if you want to do something like that. Versus I'm looking at, it's still the same amount of work. I'm going to charge the same price. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is, what time of the year it is. I'm going to charge my same price. Now, if I'm reducing the amount of work I'm doing, if someone's saying, hey, you know what? I don't need all of this. I just need, the small part. Okay, fine, great. I can kind of say less work, less charge. This is the thing you have to think about is time and material. That's what most of the people in the service industry look at. How much time and how much material. What materials am I using? My speakers, my music knowledge, lighting, anything, microphones, those are all materials. What is my time worth? Some DJs, their time is worth $10 an hour. Some DJs, their time is worth $1,000 an hour. You have to understand what your cost is. You have to understand what your time is worth. What you are spending on a wedding. If you're spending, 40 hours, 45 hours, that's about average. If you're spending, 10 hours on a wedding, including the day of stuff, yeah, you're not spending enough time. You're not doing the right things. You're not checking enough boxes because it's not being busy work. It's getting everything ready. Paperwork organized, talking to the client, getting music ready, getting equipment ready, charging things. How many things do you have that's battery operated? How much time do you spend on setup? We're usually there at least 2 hours, more likely 3 hours before a start of anything. So we're setting everything up. We get everything tested, working, and then we come along and, get everything ready. But I'd much rather have, some downtime and sit there for a little bit and not do anything and wait for people to come in to start everything, and then rushing at the last minute. And if something does go wrong, I have backup stuff to replace it. I have an option. All right, so this is not working. What do we have an option B? What do we have an option C? And that's the other thing is that they're paying for your expertise. They're paying for your labor. They're paying for your time. you should charge what you feel is best for you.
All right. And then let's go back to a nuke. 9868 says the client's conversation mostly tells me their needs, and I already know what package they're going to get anyway. I've not had lowball offers, etc. for weddings, just private events, and that's been eons ago. Yep. Because I'm starting. My thing was, one, I had to get a sales call workflow, because up until December, I was basically freestyling. They'll call and we start talking. I was just going off the top of my head. But once I got a workflow, basically I started off with a script and then also practice with the script. So it's just like with me being a teacher, when you first start teaching, you have your little teacher's ed books. And if you ever seen a teacher ed book that tell you what to say, they give you every step, what to do if this happens. So basically I was reading that. But once I got that down, I don't have to refer to it as much. I just have an outline that I take notes and all that kind of stuff. But once I got my workflow down, going from, the opening banter and to letting them know what the expectation of this phone call is. So asking them, telling them, this is how I handle my consultations. I'll listen to you, listen to what your needs are, and then I'll tell you how I operate, and then I'll give you, how much you need to invest into what your vision is, and then your next steps. So once I go down my workflow, once I start doing that on a regular, I noticed I didn't get a lot of the extra questioning or talking down. They understood the price, and they understood also during that middle section too, the part where I tell them how I operate or how I do things or how I would make their vision come to life. Once I was able to take what they said, basically repeat what they said, and then connect myself to their vision, it didn't come to a lot of pushback. Because again, it's just like what Nuke said, he kind of like already know what, just by listening to them, already know what package that he's going to push. And then also, my checklist also have the add-ons. Going back to, I'm kind of like looking at my base price for each one of my packages, but then if they're saying that they want this add-on, or if they're saying they want this experience, that this add-on might fit that experience, I check that box. So therefore, once I get to giving my price, I have my base number, but then I also have an idea of what I'm going to add to that base price. So I'm quoting them that one price. So that's once I start, again, doing that, practicing in that, and just like what Buddy said, once I start to internalize my prices, I know what my prices are, then it made it easier for me to convey that to the clients. So let me go back to. I thought you was trying to do the double duty tonight. I thought when you turned to the side, yeah, when you turned to the side, I thought you was looking at the start to spin group, but I was like, they should be done.
No. Tracy put the backdrop back too far.
Oh, okay.
I like a little more forward. I'm like, why am I seeing the end of the treadmill and stuff? In the bottom of the like. Okay, that's why it's back there, because the treadmill's back here. So, guys don't pay attention what's behind there.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing with packages, like on my packages, it's based on a couple of things. It's based on how many people. Again, I have a package for the smaller weddings, 80 or less. The silver and my platinum my silver and my base bronze package. The difference is the amount of people. More people, more work, more requests, and then we have more options. But if I have a small micro wedding, 80 people or less, 60 people, 50 people, 40 people, that's why I have that for. That's why, excuse me, I have a smaller sound package. That's why I'm using Maui 5s. That's why I'm using a little bit smaller setup. Different in lighting too. The lighting's not as elaborate as on a bigger package. When I get into my gold package or my platinum package, more and more lighting. I start getting into stereo tubes. We start getting into uplighting. We start getting into the monograms. We get into those additional features. Now, someone can take a basic package, a bronze package, and start adding things in there, going, hey, I want a white sub. Hey, I want a monogram. And I've done that. Your base package should be your minimum price, your minimum floor. And then you start building on that.
What's up, James?
James is here.
Yep.
Yep. I'm getting over whatever. It started Sunday. So yeah, I'm getting over it. So I apologize if you hear me coughing. Has not been fun for the past couple days. If you catch this show on Tuesday, I was not feeling very well, but I suffered through it for you guys out there. But the big thing you have to recognize is what the customer wants to have, how you do a package, and you should have differences in packages. You have difference in pricing. And kind of like you said before, Dwayne, you have the good, better, best. Marcus Lemonis, which is a very wealthy guy, he did a show on CNBC, The Prophet, and he would go and buy businesses, and his philosophy, which I also said, yeah, this is a correct philosophy, having a good, better, best, a good package, a better package, and having your best package. And that's the way you should have that, and there should be differentiating between the three of them. Why does this package have more than that package? What does this package do that this package does not do? Now, you should have a basic package, and then people can build stuff up. They can say, hey, I want a basic package, but I want to add in this. I want to add in a monogram. I want to add in a photo booth. I want to add in whatever. Okay, fine, great, no problem. You can do that. But also you can look at, well, you're spending money for this, for an extra $100, $200, $300, you can go next package up and get even more. So that's the things you have to look at, is what you're doing, and lead your customer to the right place. You should be doing the right amount of business and should have the right pricing and make good money for your business. When you have your business, you have costs. And I've talked about this on the round table. I've talked about this on your show. You have to know your costs when you walk out the door. And that's one of the things Dwayne and I talked about a bunch of times, is about that cost. How and what and where and why. And that's why you notice now your pricing has changed. Your clientele has changed, because you're not dealing with the people chasing that low $500 DJ service, because you're not that low $500 DJ service. You're like, hey, I can give a better product, do more, offer more, and I deserve more, which is true. Just like, if James had his own business, and again, James, he works with another DJ, but if he decided tomorrow that I'm going to branch off and do his own, he should be easily $2,000 for his setup, easily, for his market, easily. And then plus, and go up from there. And that's the thing, is that, like anything else, someone does something, you should know your costs, but also you get to look at what you're giving for a product. If you have a very good looking setup, a very pretty setup, and you're having good lighting, good sound, good presence, yeah, you should be up there and more expensive. If you have very basic lighting, yeah, okay. You have very basic setup, okay. And a basic sound, okay. Again, you could charge accordingly. But that's why I have different levels, and that's why I have a basic package, a bronze package for those micro weddings, because they're getting basic lighting, they're getting basic sound. They still get all the other, basic amenities, wireless microphones, stuff like that. But even that basic package is still up there in cost. Is not the $500 DJ, and they're looking for $500 DJ. That's not me. I'm going to be way more than that. And you should, again, look at anything you look at, you should be trying to make a profit on a gig. And that money should go off to the side and, pay your business's bills. What are your business bills? Your cell phone, internet, insurance, your business insurance, equipment. If you're having anything on a credit card that you're paying off of, if you got speakers or a booth or anything, that all takes money, and paying that stuff off. Hey, it's great. Sometimes, Sweetwater has a special on stuff. You buy something, new controller, whatever. They have 36 months, no entrance. Okay. So you're going to pay that off. Here, that's where you do your business money. That's the thing is that, I know Mike freaked out when I said once I have, my operating expenses is like $2,000 a month. And that's, again, advertisement. That's all this stuff. Everything you add in there, advertisements, bills, insurance, all this stuff is all every single month, like anything else. And if you have a business, you have all this money going out. When you make money coming in, you got to make sure you have enough money coming in to not only cover the bills. You should have also extra money be put away for later, but also you should have more money so you can pay yourself. Because you're an employee of your own business. Mm-hmm. But, a micro wedding or a small wedding, if someone's calling and say, I have a micro wedding, I'm thinking of small head count. If they want to be, I want to have a cheap wedding, kind of like you were talking about before, what it sounded like what Mike was thinking of, then that's, again, I see it all the time in the groups. I'm looking for a budget DJ. Yeah, great. They're looking for, they want a $500-$600 DJ. And it's kind of, sometimes I read the comments, it's kind of a race to the bottom. And these guys are like, hey, I have a package for this, I have a package for that. And I know some of these DJs, I'm like, dude, you're worth way more than that. This person wants to be cheap. You're not, you should not be in that realm. You're worth way more than that. You give too good of a product. And that's a frustrating thing to me because I know some of these guys and girls, and I look at it and go like, you put too good of a product out. Charge what you're worth. You should be charging a fair amount. And if someone wants to, say, hey, I want $500, and someone wants to pay, and do that gig for that, let them. That's not your clientele. You should be looking at your clientele and saying, this is where I want to be for pricing. This is where I want to be for clientele, and I want to market to these people. If someone's coming along, again, if something very simple like, hey, I'm doing a backyard wedding. All it is basically a reception, cocktail, dinner, and dancing. We're not doing any introductions, no nothing else. I have a budget of $600, and it's 4 hours, and I just need basic setup. No lights, just 2 speakers, a controller, a microphone, and a computer. Okay, if you want to do that, again, that's up to you. I wouldn't do that because my cost is more than that because insurance and everything like that. But if you could swing that and you can do that and you can make money out of that, hey, great. But you should know what your cost is before you do that. If you're saying, hey, $600 is my cost, is it really? Are you actually making money? Or do you think you're making money when you actually look at everything? You're actually losing money for every time you go out. Mm-hmm. And I know we had a conversation a while back, the two of us, and you did some math, and the math was not mathing. And that's one of the reasons why you raise it up, because you're like, whoa, yeah, my operating cost is not this, it's this. Mm-hmm. And that right there wakes up a lot of people when they see that. And your operating cost, gas, insurance on the vehicle you're driving, is that, and then business insurance for your equipment and for transporting, because your auto insurance will not cover your gear if it's damaged on your vehicle. So you get in an auto accident, your speakers are damaged, your car insurance will not cover because it's a business. Talk to your insurance agent. 9 times out of 10, they will not cover business equipment. If it was your personal stuff in your house that got damaged, yes. But you're doing it for money? No, they won't cover you. You're paying for everything else, your cell phone, you're paying for internet, you're paying for any kind of advertisements you're paying for. All that stuff adds up very quickly. And that's what you have to look at. What is your cost to walk out the door? Can you actually do that gig? Or should you be doing that gig at that lowball price?
Mm-hmm. And getting back to insurance is funny. I'm not going to call out any insurance names, but it's like even when you need insurance, you pay the whole time. You can be with them for years and years, never had a claim. As soon as you need to do a claim, they find some little nick to say, oh, we can't give you the money for that one.
Mike is losing his mind over here. He can't understand $2,000 a month operating costs for a business. Again,
I told them earlier. Only reason I haven't did that because I'm scared to look at the amount. Because when you really think about, because again, I look for Chat GPT. I just did the year because I know I'm going to be using it all the time. You have that. You have your DJ pool. I'm still hanging on with Spotify. And then all this other miscellaneous stuff that I don't think about. Yeah, it'll add up real quick.
Here's four things. I can get to $1,000 very quickly. Prom only is $100 a month. The Notch $360 a month. That's $460 right there. $460 right there, Mike. So, two things. $460 every single month. The insurance. My insurance is paid yearly. So if I break it down monthly, that's going to be that's what, $2,600 a year. That's a lot of money. My cell phone, internet, other advertisements, and again, that's not including Extendamix. That's not including other services I have. Zoom. I got to pay that every month. I got to pay for for Office 365. You pay that once a year. They break down that for every month. This is why I come from a corporate background and running P&Ls and seeing what's coming in and what's going out. Looking and seeing what our cost is every single month. What we're running into. A vehicle payment. When I had my vehicle payment, the vehicle payment was $500 a month. Okay. So again, just because your cost is not $2,000, which again, you should look at everything. Fuel. I just got diesel fuel a week ago. It was $136 for diesel. And again, I went through a quarter of a tank. I'll go drive this weekend, no problem, but I'll have to fill up next week. That'll be $60, $70 for fuel. That's again an operating cost. That's part of your expense. Maintenance. I used to do a bunch of maintenance on my van. That was $2,700. It's yearly maintenance plus stuff has been done in a couple of years because I haven't got the mileage on time. So radiator flush, trans flush, all the tire rotation, oil change, normal stuff I get every year. Tire rotation, an oil change, wiper blades, cabin air filter I get every year. Every year I get a tire rotation. Okay, it's $120. But I also got a alignment. That was $250. So again, $2,600 right there. So you take that divided by 12 months. Again, you get up there very quickly. If you have a business vehicle, you have a vehicle for business that it's exclusive for business. Every single thing you do to it, go to a car wash. Okay, $70 every time I take it to a wash to get it cleaned. Wash the outside, clean the windows. Nothing crazy. $70 because it's a big vehicle. You have a regular van, you can take it to a car wash. Okay, maybe $40, $50. But still, that vehicle, it still needs maintenance. It still needs insurance on it, car insurance, which is separate from your business insurance. You still have all this stuff in there. And I'm sure Mike is probably going crazy.
Yeah, but I was going to say, going back to their comments in there, because I'm not going to read them all. But again, it goes back to let's not look at the amount per month per se. The amount, it's the main idea is to know what you pay, because you may not pay $2,000 a month. You just know how much it costs for you to go out. It doesn't matter how big or small, to make sure that you're not losing money each time you go out or don't have a way to get it back. Because it's just like my mind. It's just like my mind thinking when I had a full-time job. That's why I didn't look at it DJing, because DJing was just play money for me. My real job was holding down my household and all that. But once that got cut down to my retirement, it's like I had to budget, a certain amount of money each month. I wasn't getting it every 2 weeks, so I couldn't go out and splurge like I used to. So it doesn't.
Mike
yeah,
is
let's not
asking-
go back
Mike
and
is
forth
asking-
on over.
Mike is throwing what ifs out there, and his what if is what happens if you got hurt. You can DJ for 4 to 6 months. Would TBM Productions cease? Yeah, like any business, electrician, plumber, they can't work. They can't work. They basically have to, give stuff up. I have to shut things down, just like I did with Ved. When in 2020, when that hit, I had 5 gigs that whole entire time. The bank didn't care that was going on. They didn't care one single bit. I still had to make payments. And because Tracy worked full time, we were taking money, not only money we saved for the business, which you should have as a business owner, about 6 months worth of operating expenses in your back pocket saved up, which we do and we have, so we can operate 6 months without any problems. We didn't know what was going to happen in 2020. So we also took money that Tracy, we paid for stuff out of Tracy's money, out of her regular pay. So again, and we floated things and we worked things out. Now, thank goodness, it didn't last for too long, but still, something like that happens, sure, you're going to have to. It's like that with any small business. If something happens, you own a hot dog stand, you're selling hot dogs, and all of a sudden, something tragic happens, and you can't do anything you're laid up for 2 or 3 months. That hot dog stand, the mortgage is still there, or the rent is still there. The landlord doesn't care. You still got to pay for it. If you can't afford it, okay, then you cease business. And again, Mike, it's a question of what ifs, and you can play scenarios all day long. I'm just telling you what is happening and transpiring. Again, you don't understand the concept of paying a bunch of money. I'm sorry. But going back to your thing with micro weddings, again, someone coming asking for a micro wedding to try and get a discount, they can ask all they want to. Doesn't mean you have to give it, and that's the bottom line. You shouldn't be discounting. You shouldn't be saying, hey, you know what? Because it's a smaller wedding, I'll do it for $500 or $600. If you can afford to do that, hey, great. But should you be doing that? It's the same amount of work. Is there a smaller amount of people? Yes, I will discount. I do have a package for less people, smaller speaker system, less lighting, less everything. But again, I still am charging a fair amount of money for that. It's not like I'm charging a low dollar. Some people they want that $500 DJ or $600 DJ or $1,000 DJ. They want that. Hey, fine. I'm not that DJ. But if you are, if that's what you feel is the best price for your market in your area, God bless. But again, are you worth more? I'm going to say again, I feel most of the guys watch my show, they're worth more than that. They're worth way more than that. And I will fight to my last dying breath is that they should charge what they feel is best, but also I feel they should charge more because the fact that all the work they put into it, all the skills they have, all the understanding, it's a lot there, and they're worth every penny. Just like you, Dwayne, you play your 45 instruments, and you have this depth and knowledge of music, just like Mike. Mike has depth and knowledge of music. It's crazy. You guys know all this stuff. It's like, God, I feel like a 5-year-old sometimes when I hear you guys talk about music. And I don't have that depth of knowledge on all these, backstories and stuff. But you need to charge for that. That's expertise. That's understanding. And having that in your back pocket is a great thing. And that's also puts you differently than other DJ services. And you should showcase that. You should say, hey, why am I different than DJ down the street? Here's the reasons why. And you should showcase why you're different. How are you different? Well, I do this. Okay. That's a different way of doing it. Showcase that. Explain to the customers that. If customers just see you as 2 speakers and someone press play and they don't understand why you're charging what you're charging. Explain to them a little bit. You don't have to go really crazy in depth, get really technical, but explain to them your philosophy. Have some good pictures. Have some stuff you can pull out and show people that you can wow them and showcase what you can do. Say, this is what I can do. Here, let me show you the dance floor from this past wedding of people dancing, having fun, doing whatever. And that's a key part, having that video, having that stuff that you can showcase and show what is going on, what's transpiring on your dance floor What's happening at cocktail? What's happening at dinner? Take a little video. Are people having fun? Are people enjoying themselves? Showcase your work. Showcase what you could do. Show that customer why you're worth what you're worth. And again, charge accordingly. See, I told a lady in my neighborhood, oh, $600 in your neighborhood, and she watched all the color disappear from her face. She's probably thinking like $200 or $300. And you know, she wants that. Again, she could find someone for that. She could very easily find someone, and she will. It's not your clientele, though, James. You should be $600. I would say that's owner bidding for you. I've seen your setup. You should be getting that should be at least $1,000. And again, people don't want to pay for it. And you're not like in a bad neighborhood. You're in a nice neighborhood. You know, it should be more than that. It should definitely be more than that because again, you're worth it. I see your setups. I see what you do. You're worth every penny more than that, because again, you're a good DJ. You're a good. You have good presence, and you have good music knowledge, and you have understanding and flow. You charge your expertise, just like a doctor. If you go to a doctor, and that doctor is a specialist in an area, and they're going to be more expensive. Oncologists are going to be way more than a general practitioner. Why? Because they hone their skills and work in one area. You know, you don't want to talk to an oncologist, no, because that's cancer. But the thing is that if you had talked to a cardiologist, oncologist, whatever, those are specialists, and they charge outrageous amount of money because of their specialty. You should kind of look at it the same way. You should look at, hey, I'm a specialist in quinceañeras. I'm a specialist in wedding. I'm a specialist in karaoke. You should charge something that you're going to make some money on. You're going to make a few bucks. Again, if something simple, you can charge whatever you want to charge. And again, it's your time, your labor. What do you think a basic charge? $600 for a backyard party for 3 hours for a graduation party? I think that's more than fair. I would think, you know, again, for James, at least 1,000. And that's even with, you know, again, two 12-inch tops. No subs, just 2 12-inch tops on stands. Nothing crazy. Because again, his expertise. What's his time worth? Mike easily $1,000 for something like that. Easily. 2 12-inch tops.
Then also, you gotta remember, James King. He's a YouTube superstar DJ now. So that alone. What do you call that when they just show up? They're like with Shaq and all of them. They just show up their appearance fee or whatever.
Besides him being a superstar on YouTube, you have to look at his job. And his job doing DJing is a little bit different. And you have to look at what that incurs and what is that area. And that right there is expertise in music and in setups and so forth, so on. He understands a lot of technical side of things and operational side of things. And again, that makes him an expert. He understands flow of a night, just like Mike does, just like Hunter does, just like I can go through anyone here. Understanding all that stuff right there, that makes you an expertise in the area. You know, Diego knows quinceañeras very well. He can walk through a flow of a quinceañera with his eyes closed. That makes him an expert in the area. And he should charge accordingly. I hope he does.
Mm-hmm. I see Diego and the Shuffle couple is here now.
Oh, what's up, Dan? Again, experts in the area.
Mm-hmm.
They should, you know, again, I feel a lot of people should be charging more than they charge. And, you know, the market is a bear of the area. But the thing is that, you know, they charge what they feel is best for them. But they also need to charge what's realistic and to cover their costs. Because what's a gallon of gas right now? Here in Illinois, it's, I want to say like $4.60, $4.70.
Yeah, we up there too.
$4.85? Okay. $4.85 a gallon for gasoline here in Illinois. Diesel is $5.20? Yeah, $5.20 for diesel. I have my van is diesel. My truck is diesel. Tracy's car is gas. But, you know, again, it goes out. I get better mileage on diesel and gas, but still, that's cost. Other states to be cheaper. So it's all you know, it's all different between. But just because something is, you know, in another area is higher price, Does it mean you go to every area? No, but the thing is, that look at Berkeley. He's in the middle of nowhere. He's in cow country. He's on the Mississippi River between two states, and he's charging up there in price too. So that's the thing. You have to look at what you're targeting, your target audience, what your target customers are. Someone's calling you up saying, "Hey, I'm looking for this, and I want to pay this." If it's not in your range, you're like, "Yeah, unfortunately, I'd love to help you, but it's below what I charge. I can't go that low. I can't make money at that level. I wish you a lot of luck. Congratulations, and we'll talk to you later." It's they don't come up to your price. They won't say, "Hey, I seen your pricing, or I know your pricing," and fine. Some people put a range on their website. I put my price on my website, and that's because, again, it keeps the tire kickers away. I don't get the people calling me up saying, "Hey, can you DJ my wedding for $500?" I don't. I stopped that a long time ago putting price on my website.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, why did my screen move? Is this a new stop blur auto frame? Let me see. That didn't do anything. That's still, I'm like, why did it? There you go. Now, how you turn it? I didn't even turn this on. How did this turn this off?
Yeah, it's like zooming in and stuff.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, but before we end, I know sometimes they say, like, when there's not a lot of people at a party, you don't get a full dance floor, or people are scared to get on the dance floor. So have you experienced that?
Yeah. Again, you have a small wedding or a small event. Yeah, you're gonna have less people dancing, but again, you get 4 or 5 people dancing on the dance floor. It's fine. What kind of event is it? Again, sometimes I get weddings that are just a chill event. People sitting back, sipping a drink, toe tapping, enjoying themselves, singing along to songs. At the end of the night, when I say a successful wedding, was the couple happy? Were their guests telling them, "Hey, I love this. This was the best wedding ever"? Doesn't matter if people were dancing or people were sitting back, sipping drinks and eating hors d'oeuvres all night. If they're having fun, singing along, building memories with the couple, to me, that's the most important thing. And do I want to see a full dance floor? Sure. But with a small wedding, 20, 30, 40 people, fine. We have a wedding that we booked for next year. We're doing basically the ceremony. We're going to do daddy, daughter, mother, son, and first dance, and a little bit of cocktail music. 2 hours. That's it. No reception. Nothing else. 2 hours. Done and over with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still charging regular prices. Why? Because it's still my time, my expertise, my work, Tracy's work. I still get the same cost. So it's one of the things that, I do run into that. Am I expecting people to dance? No, that's not even anything dancing. Other than the special dances, after they're done, they're going to go in and have dinner inside a bed and breakfast, and then they're going to chill all night and playing board games. That's their goal.
Mm-hmm.
And they have I want to say 20 people. That includes the bride and groom and the officiant. So again, that to me is a micro wedding. And again, we're just doing sound for the ceremony, pre-ceremony music, special dances, a little bit of cocktail music just for a little bit of groove. And then they're having dinner inside and they're playing board games and they're going to bed at 10 o'clock or whatever. It's a bed and breakfast. Nothing crazy in August this year. She hired us because she saw us at another wedding, the weddings we had at the distillery, at Thornton's Distillery. And she's like, "I saw you guys, what you guys did. You guys ran a wedding perfectly." And that's the other thing. People see what you do and your professionalism, how you do things. They will hire you for that. They will come in and say, "Yeah, I've seen others. I've been to other weddings and I've seen yours. And yeah, this is what I want." And they will pay for that premium price. And they will pay for you for your services. So have faith in yourself. Have also, understanding that, there's customers out there that will pay you the right price. Again, there's always going to be cheap people. There's people who go to Walmart and there's people who go to Von Maur. And if you don't have a Von Maur near you, Von Maur is a high-end retailer. They both sell clothes, but Von Maur has all the top brand names. They're higher than the Macy's. They really showcase their customer service. And then you have Walmart. You have Target. You have Marshalls. You know, you have discounters. What kind of client you're going for? Are you going for the Walmart, the Marshalls, and Target's a little higher end than Walmart, but are you going for those lower customers? Or are you going for the customers that are the Von Maur customers? That's what you're targeting for. Who are you targeting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the chat is going crazy because I said we was about to end. But see, I finally got a gig, and so it's like it's almost like a gauntlet because I got the dance tomorrow, and then that Sunday I got the 60th birthday / graduation party, which I gotta make sure I'm gonna try to crush. I should have charged more because I'm thinking that one was going to be like a rinky-dink, since it was a church thing. It was going to be at the church thing. So I charged them that church price, but they have it at a nice venue. So, but at the same time, the pastor was talking about someone being there that's going to get married. So, and she was asking me about my services and stuff. So going there, giving them, I guess, a sneak peek to try to get my money back. And then Monday we got our family thing. So that's going to be basically warm up for the cabaret I got next Saturday. And then I got the 2 graduation programs at my school, my old school I retired from, and at the other school I'm working at. So I'm busy just going straight through, going from doing one gig, stopping, making sure I got the right speakers this time, and then prepping and playing the right music. So,
and that's the key thing. Don't make sure you get everything all right. You check checklist.
Yep.
You know, Will said he wanted to see me talk on a microphone. It is no different than talking here. I don't talk on a microphone constantly. I'm there to disseminate information, and talk a little bit here and there, even for special dances. And it's the same things. Ladies and gentlemen, please have your seats. You know, I'm not talking to a microphone constantly. This is not talk radio or a vlog at a wedding. And if you're constantly talking on a microphone, talking through songs and stuff, that's not me. I don't do that. I thought you read.
I was going to say, did you put one up, or was that might have been Will? Because somebody had just did a event where they did like the introductions and stuff. That might
introductions. Tracy and I split introductions. She does the introductions. Tracy does.
Okay.
So she does the grand entrance. I do like the special dances. I do cake cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So we split MC work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can put video up there of her doing introductions. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But she's the one that does introductions. She's the one that introduces the people for her speeches and hands the microphone over to him and then recovers the microphone.
Or that might have been one of your Patreon videos. You showed us doing the after show on one of the round tables.
Hey, you guys want to start paying me money for secret squirrel stuff? Hey, you know, you want to come into to my own private little lair and watch movies behind the scenes. But yeah, Tracy does grand entrance, so it's always we share MC work. So like cake cutting, first dance, daddy, daughter, mother, son, I do all those.
Mm-hmm.
General announcements, I do those. Mm-hmm. Do I talk in the mic here and there? You know, last song, or if I see something, yeah. But am I constantly on the microphone? No, no. I don't believe DJs should be constantly on the microphone saying stuff. Mm-hmm. And I see DJs that do that, and I'm like, yeah. It's not about you. It's about the couple. It's about the party. Let them enjoy themselves. Mm-hmm. You should be background at best.
Mm-hmm. And then the sofa couple was asking gig logs. I recorded the country line dance, but it's one of those things. I have a idea of what kind of like short that I'm going to do. So it's just a matter of me sitting down there, you know, creating the shorts, because it has to hit like the way Dan does his little videos and the way Diego's been doing his mashups. So I got to make sure my my editing and my little short form video is on point. And then
I have not. I don't know about you, but I have not been recording too much. I record at weddings, and I just got my new camera that I've used at a past couple weddings, which I'm gonna pull out here. The little DJI, was it Omni 3 or Omnis 3 or?
I think Mike has that.
It is.
Yep.
If you
And
turn it on.
it follows you and stuff.
Yeah, it can. It can track you. You go to use this for if you want to for vlogging or for streaming. But this right here is what I just got charged up for the wedding for Saturday.
Okay.
But it's like anything, I really have not been doing gig logs because gig logs don't get the traction on my channel. I do them from time to time. I'll put a bunch together and do it. But it's like anything, my big thing is my show and stuff, but I'll do it from time to time. Because, again, people ask, can I see your work? I can showcase it, say, hey, go to YouTube, look for this, look for that, so I can send a link. So it does help. But I do have gig logs up there that go back years. Heck, if you go back to my early video, I have a video of me standing in my driveway with my white Sprinter behind me, talking about all the gear I have for it. And that's 2006, I want to say that video is. And then I put it up on this channel because my original channel went away for whatever reason. That was 2006, 2007. So that's pretty old. But it's like, or no, that's 2009. Yeah, 2009. So that's pretty old, that video. But like anything, you grow, you should have a growth pattern. You should showcase that you have moved and got better and better and better, like anything. And technology has changed, equipment has changed, and so forth. But you have to, when you're doing stuff like gig logs and stuff like that, again, who are you making a gig log for? You make it for other DJs or you make it for clients? That's the question. You want to showcase and show people, hey, Mr. and Mrs. married couple or soon-to-be married couple, or hey, you want to see how I do this? This is how I set up for this. Or are you talking to all the DJs out there? Hey, guys, this is what I'm doing, and this is my setup. Okay. Who is a gig log for? And that's the thing you have to define, which way you're trying to go for. If you're going for DJs, that's fine. But if a client sees that, you need to be prepared for that, and a client going to agree with that and agree with your manner. Are they going to say, well, no, you're weird or cheesy or whatever? Or are they going to say, oh yeah, this guy's cool. I want them to DJ my event. So that's the thing you always want to be careful that clients can see those videos. So if you're doing stuff that clients may not agree with, you don't want to put that out there.
Yeah, but I've been videotaping, and I videotaped the Quilting Guild fashion show and all that, because I have an idea for that to cut like a small segment, because that was an interesting one. Even though it wasn't a dancing event, but I can do one like DJ Reese does when he talks about doing a corporate event and all that kind of stuff. And with the kids,
Jeff does a good one too. When Jeff does stuff, he puts his 360 up there or his GoPro up there.
Yeah, I saw Jeff. Jeff did a good school one the other day.
Yeah, Jeff does great stuff.
Yep. And then for school, yeah, I'm definitely going to record for the school dance for tomorrow. And there go my thing moving again. But yeah, but it's going to be similar to like the way I did the Galleon. Because I seem like I get more views for when I show like a full DJ set. It's more so me giving like a commentary of my thought process as I go through each song and showing the transitions. And even when they bomb, when the dance floor clears, you at least get an idea of why I picked that song. And then you get to see how I try to build it back in my thought process and how I go bounce from crate to request list and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Mike, I've said before, I've had eons. I've had a couple generation of eons. So yeah, I sold my last set of Eons to actually DJ Fire. But I still have PRX. I still have JBL stuff. I just don't. That's not my frontline speakers anymore because again, things change, times change, and looks change, like anything else. It's again. I'm not ashamed of what I have or what I had. But as far as your videos, because Dan asked, do I think customers would like your logs? That's something you would have to ask them. They watch it, but you have to think about that. What the customers, that are looking at that's watching it. What do they think? And that's between you and them. That's something you discuss with your clients. That's why I always try to be very much like, okay, I'm making it for other DJs, but if clients see it, if I showcase to someone, let them, and plus I take those videos, those are the videos I'll put up at a wedding show, because I want people to see that, the introduction when I'm talking at the beginning, hey guys, in my driveway right now, ready to pull out, whatever, for a gig log. People see that. Tracy's like, what's that in there for? I'm like, because it's a video, it's a gig log. Why you got a gig log? Because it has dance in there, it has setup, it has whatever we're doing. It's already pre-made. I put it at the wedding show, and people can see I'm talking to the camera. So I'm explaining something. I'm explaining what I'm doing for that day. If someone wants to really listen to it, they can go to YouTube and watch it and listen to it. And that's the thing is that, you have to, when you do stuff, anything you put out there, your customers can see. And you have to be, okay, customers can see this, see that. It's fine. Do I think Dan's got good videos? Yes. I like Dan's videos. I do. I enjoy watching the gig logs you do, Dan. I definitely, I smirk a lot of times. I understand your humor and I understand you. You're a cool dude. Same thing with, James got a couple videos. Mike's got some videos. Everybody's got videos. So it's always good to see videos. Diego's videos, he just did one. I just saw his. Josh, the new guy on the show, I watched his gig logs for a while. Dwayne, I've watched his gig logs. Again, Jeff, I just watched his. Brentley, I just watched one of his. When I find time to, during the daytime, if I can watch a gig log or two, I'll watch a gig log or two. Will I sit through all the songs dancing? No, but I'll listen to the beginning part. I'll listen to mid. I'll listen a little bit to the mix, what they're doing stuff, seeing what they're doing, watching. Do I listen to every single song? I will admit no. But the thing is that's just because of the fact that I listen to music all the time. And every wedding, every event is different. So because you're playing this song at that event, doesn't mean it may mean I'm going to play it or I may not play it. The big thing is that, having presence on screen, I feel is an important thing, and showcasing your expertise and showcasing what you can do. And that Dan does that perfectly. Mike's done that. All the guys I know, I see, do that really, really well, showcase what they could do for a potential client and explain things. Brentley has that demeanor of going through everything very methodically and going down a list of what he has set up and so forth and so on. And that's fine. That he's explained not only to other DJs, but also to clients. And I think Brentley does a little bit more focus to clients than other DJs. But other DJs watch it, cool. But his focus is more to clients because, again, a client comes and asks, can I come to a wedding and watch you DJ? No. That's why I have YouTube. That's why I have videos. That's why I have pictures on Instagram. That's why I have video on Instagram. I can showcase all I want. And going back to micro weddings, that's why I don't get people coming and asking me for $500 weddings.
He said, okay, and then Nuke 9868 says, I do a lot of events for high-end clients that I don't post publicly outside of their event. That also gets around in the sector of my business that my discretion, that's priceless, keeps me busy. Brentley's good as a good MC. That's what Will said. Great voice. Yeah, he has that radio voice. The Shuffle Couple said Dwayne who? And the Ruckus Inc. said, oh no, I can't take another roasting this month. There was a couple others. Then I know Cool Thing says he's going to try to do his, he's going to document his DJ journey and showcase what he do as a DJ. And he has a school dance tomorrow, and I think he said his new controller is coming tomorrow. And then,
So going back to the one guy saying that he doesn't put anything publicly, he doesn't put anything on social media. That's what he feels is best for his business. That's fine and great. You know, social media is totally different these days, and it is another shingle out there on the internet for your business. And if you're staying busy the way you're doing, by all means, do what you do. But I would still take photos because that showcases what you can do and show to other clients what you have done. Doesn't mean you have to put everything out there. I have tons of videos I don't have out in public. There's tons of photos I don't have out in public because the fact that is for me to showcase to clients and explain to clients what I'm doing, why I'm doing this, or why I have this, or why I have that. I don't show everything on social media, and that's because the fact that I show what we can do, some basic stuff, so people can understand what's happening, but not everything. And usually when we put stuff on social media is after the fact. So it's not the same day. It's not at the wedding or the gig where we're doing that. Usually the weekend after is when Tracy usually uploads stuff to Instagram and stuff like that. I may during the week upload stuff to my personal, or I may upload something to our business Instagram or Facebook. But that's always, you know, after the fact. That way you have time for everyone who is there to post or whatever. And it's always never anything untasteful. So again, your clientele, you know, doesn't want anything, it wants discretion. That's fine and great. You know, there's tons of stuff I don't take pictures of, or there's weddings I don't record. But if most people, they don't care. And when I'm showcasing to other couples, this is what I've done in the past. This is some of the stuff I do. Again, not all of that is out there in the public. Not all of that is out there on Instagram or Facebook. So that's the thing you have to look at is what you're posting, where you're posting at, how you're posting, and what presence you're trying to have. Having some presence, I feel, is important, and people need to see some of the things that you do. And again, you don't have to post every single thing, and you have to have respect for the client and for them. So that's an important thing. And again, if it's working for you, God bless. And you're busy as all heck, God bless. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. All right.
Not certain clients. Yeah, a lot of times you run into, if you run into like a famous client, someone who's a sports star, movie star, TV, something like that. Yeah, a lot of times you have, they usually have you sign a contract, NBA, basically saying that, you can't do anything picture-wise or anything like that. That's fine and great. You run into that. I've run into that, some people. But then you have people who have content creators at an event, and those content creators are recording to put out there. So that's one of the things you can talk to them too. Say, hey, can you tag me in on this? Hey, can you tag? If you want to get some cool pictures, I'll work with you. You work with them. You talk to them, see if you can do some stuff. But try and get yourself tagged in on those content creators. That's not a big thing that people hiring content creators to come in, put stuff up on Insta and TikTok and whatnot. So you should partner with them, as well as photographers and videographers, and they can also send you stuff too. That's always a great thing. Have a great rapport, a great relationship. Not only makes it easier at night to work, but when you go and ask for, hey, can I get some pictures of the last wedding? Boom, no problem.
Yeah, 'cause that's another thing that I'm starting to see a trend in. Brides asking for content creators specifically on Facebook. 'Cause I didn't think that was a thing.
Nope, it's a big thing. And again, I apologize to you guys that you're hearing me coughing and stuff and hacking. I've been sick all week, and I got wedding Saturday, so I'm on the good side of everything, but I'm still coughing, and I do apologize to you guys. I apologize to you, Dwayne.
No
I was
problem.
coughing during a customer. I have cough syrup here, regular Robitussin, good old Robitussin, and had some of that before the meeting to make sure I tried to reduce my coughing as much as possible. But, I don't hopefully we answered a lot of questions out there for you guys. And first thing first, I see there's only 2 likes, and I just clicked like here because the first time I got a chance to, because I've on my screen here, I have a couple screens. On my screen here, I have the YouTube channel. I see 2 thumbs up. Where's the thumbs? Where's the thumbs at? Where's the likes at? That's first thing. Second thing, if you haven't done so, if you're not subscribed to this channel, click that subscribe. Follow the journey. Follow what's going on here. Mike and Dwayne do this every Thursday. You have Diego also doing Thursday. You have James on Wednesdays. You have my show on Tuesdays over on Twitch and replay on Mondays on YouTube. You should be over clicking that stuff. Make sure you sit there and follow the channel. And, you know, again, there's how many people are watching right now? We got 11 people watching. I got 2 likes. Come on, guys. You guys could get that like. It's not a hard thing. Get that thumbs up. Come on. I want to see that thumbs go up. I want to see more than 2 thumbs.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to talk about that each week.
Gotta talk about it. Give that thumbs up. Click the subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Make sure you do all that. And here goes my camera out of focus. Now it's back in. Make sure you do all that. Make sure you keep all those lovely pictures, videos, and stuff like that for your gigs. Share it with people and charge accordingly. Again, someone's looking for a micro wedding, a small wedding, no problem. But, you know, should you do heavily discount stuff? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's how I am. Because it took me too long to try to get into that next tier level DJ charging mindset to revert back. All right, so with that said, let's head on out because it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then this is the longest I ever talked. For you all that didn't come in, Mikey Mike wasn't here. So no, Mikey Mike and Buddy didn't get into a squabble tonight, and he left. He had a gig to do, so that's why he's not on the show. So I had to, basically I had to do it all by myself for 1 hour and 30 minutes.
I'm sorry. You asked me, and my client came in. She texted me about 2 minutes before I text you. She's like, "Hey, can I come in late because I'm running late getting home?" I'm like, "Okay." And she came in at we were supposed to have a meeting at 7:30. That's why I said, "Hey, I'll be in like 8:30 or so." And she didn't get into the Zoom room until later. But great conversation, great young lady. We'll see what happens, and I had to talk to her. It's like anything else. People, we try as professionals, we try to adjust our schedule for those clients. I apologize to you guys not being here earlier, but I have to run my business, and this is the thing I always tell the guys on my show: you got to run your business. Business comes first. Do what you need to do to make your money and pay your bills. I'm not going to tell you that you have to be on my show at a certain time. If you can't make it, no big deal. But I'm glad I came here. Thank you so much for inviting me, Dwayne. I really do appreciate it, and I really appreciate you. And I appreciate Mike. I wish Mike was here because Mike is always your wingman, your partner, and he adds a lot of great information to your show.
Yep, he was wondering, can he add some information on your show on Tuesday nights?
Yes, he does. You always ask questions.
You didn't answer the question.
He's always great in the chat.
No, I'm not going to stir the pot. I'll keep it moving.
He wants to be on my show so bad. It's like, Mike, Mike on my show. I don't know. He's got this show. He wants to be on my show.
But before I forget, though, next week, my granddaughter's graduating, so we won't be doing a queued up show, and because I have all those gigs and stuff going on, we're not going to do a show next week. But that following Sunday, May 31st, we'll have a guest DJ KJ. I don't know his DJ KJ name. I just know he's Jonathan. He has a website, and he's going to come and talk to us about promotion, and there's some cool stuff on his website. let me see if I can. It was like Kara Verse. I think that's it. I was gonna check it out before he comes on. Yep. So it is Caraverse. So there's a lot of things going on his website. So we'll be talking to him May 31st. So cue it up. It'll just be a few days later, and not on the Thursday at 9. Or maybe I'll premiere. I'll sit and have time to. Hopefully, I get some good videos at the dance. Maybe I'll premiere my I'm not going to do a vlog because I don't have time, and I'm not a person that talks. You know, tonight I'm working with the such and such, and doing the travel and all that setup. I'm just doing good just recording with my 360 the actual event and myself, so I can do that.
Well, maybe next Thursday, I have to look at it and see if we can do it. I think I have a meeting next Thursday, but maybe I just see what time that meeting is and stuff. Maybe after Start to Spin and Diego's done over there in Shea and Kevin, New Jersey is done, maybe the three of them and Dan can join me on YouTube Live. And we do a YouTube Live on a Thursday night. And kind of not a cue it up, not a time to spin, not a DJ round table, but DJs just hanging out on Thursday night to kind of fill space up. Maybe I had to see, see what they're available, see if everybody's game. Maybe get James in there. Never know. Again, all through YouTube, just do it on YouTube real quick, and maybe have a quick hour show or something. Have to see if the guys are available and what they feel like, and so forth, so on.
And you still gonna leave my buddy out?
Oh, Mike? maybe Mike. Maybe Mike could come on, and because in Thursday nights, Thursday night is his night, so why would you not have him there?
So you gotta make it 2 hours then, 2 maybe 3 hours, because between you and Mike, nobody else will be able to get a word in.
I'll just be quiet in the background, be like, whoop, play. There you go.
And Cool Thing said he's free. You forgot about him too.
Oh, have to see. I'm not promising anything. I'd just send messages and talk to people and see what we could do.
All right.
Time to cue the spin. There you go. The time to cue the spin. Time to cue the spin table. Okay, you got to throw them all in there. Time to cue the spin table court. You got to throw everything in there. It's like the kitchen sink. Just throw everything in. Put it in a blender. Put it on smooth.
Yeah. Why all of a sudden I thought
in the court.
Why did I think about that the thumbnail you did a couple of weeks ago with the wrestling ring?
Yeah.
You have all the guys there. Everybody's down the side, and you and your buddy get into it in the middle of the ring.
Oh, wait, let's see here. Let me. Oh, if I share something on here, they see that?
Let me see. Share.
Or should I send it to you?
I finally got it. Yep. If you share that, it'll show on my Zoom, and then because that's why I'm broadcasting the Zoom screen.
Okay. So, gotta find it really quick. Gotta find which one you're talking about.
Okay.
Is it Is it subwoofers overrated? Was it that one?
Wait a minute. I don't. I want to say it was the one that Chris and Sean was going at it.
You should see it.
Yeah.
They can't see it though.
Oh, yes, they can.
Not. All right, there we go. All right.
Yep, they can see it because that's the screen that I share.
Okay.
Yep.
Sean coming up the top rope. Brentley just looks like he wants a fight. And Dwayne with the records.
Mm-hmm. Every time I look at Brentley right there, I think of the guy. What's the guy that was married to Ariana Grande from SNL? Is it not Tommy? What's that?
Then
that comedian's name.
This is the one from before that.
Oh, is it Tommy Davidson? No, Tommy. No, it's not. Tom. I forget that guy's name. And Diego has said, asked what camera do I use? I use the Insta 360 X5. I have the X3, but it overheats. It's not. It's one of those things where it's good for taking pictures, in short bursts, but it's not good for plugging in because I like to keep my camera on the whole time and have it plugged in to the with the extension cord. And so the X5 is built so it can take the heat better because I had fried the motherboard on my X3 doing that. So I got the X5, but the only thing I don't like about those cameras is the lighting. The low light is better on the X5, but you can't zoom in. It's not good for zooming in on anything. It looks like crap. But I guess the whole point is if you just want to make sure you get yourself and the dance floor, it works good. And then to be able to do the 360 effects and all that stuff and flying in and zooming in and all that, it's pretty good.
I do have a meme I kind of want to share. Nothing bad.
Mm-hmm.
I always like stuff, G-rated. But it is kind of funny. And we're talking about cheap.
I want a DJ for... I see DJ Fires in the... It's
Here's
in the
your
chat.
meme for this week. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of them, and they're all clean.
All right, and then I guess next week y'all can do the Q spin the court.
Had to see. Again, I'm not promising anything, but maybe I could put something together.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's head on out so I can make sure I get some sleep and make sure I want to check my lights and make sure they work. And hopefully this year I'll get to use my Rockville, what is it, spots? Is it Rockville spot? Is it 260W or 60W?
260W.
Yeah. So I got those.
I have those in black with the wireless DMX.
Yep.
Very nice. You do one as your control, one as your follower, and then they do the same thing. But you could also put in the menu that not to mirror, but to be exact opposite. So when they cross.
Right.
Versus if you don't do that, if one's looking left, they'll both look left. If one looks right, they'll both look right. So you got to do it so that it does opposite. It mirrors the other one. So they do fills the floor.
Yep, because last year Sean stayed up with me and was trying to help me with my program the lights and sound switch, and then I didn't even get a chance to use them because I forgot my top speakers, so I had to run and go get them. So
yeah, you don't want to do that. That's why having a vehicle for the business is key. Mm-hmm. If you're a plumber, electrician, or any other worker, you have a vehicle just for that. And tons of DJs, guys have trailers. Hey, God bless. You have that's a vehicle for the business. But when you have, like yourself, a lot of DJs have an SUV, load and unload all this stuff, things get forgotten very quickly. Have a checklist. Go through the checklist. Make sure everything's on there. and again, it sounds funny, but go through it every single time. Okay, my bundle of cables, my speaker tops, my poles, my subwoofer, my this, my that, whatever you're using for that package, and have multiple checklists, because you shouldn't have always the same speaker system. Different speaker systems for different needs. You should have more than one speaker system. You have one speaker system, like James has 20, so because you always be sending speaker systems, but you should have more than one speaker system. And having more than one speaker system makes you more versatile, and you can customize the sound you need for that event. Having one speaker system, invest money and buy another second speaker system that you can use for certain things. If you got a set of K12s, buy a set of K8s. Instead of having 18-inch subwoofer, buy a 15 or buy a 12. Something smaller for those smaller micro weddings that has 50 people. You don't even need a subwoofer. 2 K10s, 2 K8s, beautiful sound.
All right.
Oh, Kenny's here. He was he's been talking to me in the background. He's a drummer and a DJ. Yeah, he wants to come on to my show, so
Okay.
he will be someone coming on very soon onto my show, so that'll be really cool. But yeah, he's a cool dude. Make sure you subscribe to Cue It Up over here, man, and give a thumbs up. Come on, we still only got 2 thumbs up. How can we only have 2 thumbs up? Exitons. Now here's the thing: every time you see Exiton, it's a drink. I don't care what it is, water, pop. And again, Chicago, we say pop, not soda. Pop, water, Gatorade, whatever you have. Adult beverage, whatever. Take a swig. And make that in honor of James, because James is Exiton King.
And he says when you buy your Exitons, make sure you use his link. His link can be found on his YouTube channel and his videos.
There's 14 thumbs up. Okay.
All right, thanks you all.
I don't know why I see 2 still, but
you probably have to refresh your screen.
Yeah, refresh the browser. But yeah, it's one of the things that. Okay, now I see 14. Yeah, this is showing 2. Gotta love YouTube, how sometimes it works, doesn't work. But yeah, it's one of the things that, again, smash that subscribe button, like everything, follow the channel. Mike is usually here. Follow the other shows.
And we can't blame Mike for almost going 3 hours tonight.
I only got a little bit of time.
All right, let's go into our shout outs. And our winner from last week in our chat leaderboard was DJ Cool Thing. He came in number 1. At Big DJ Service came in number 2. Mikey Mike came in 3rd. La Ruckus Inc. came in 4th. And Buddy came in 5th. So make sure you join our Facebook group page. You can find it by just going to Facebook and type in Cue It Up DJ Podcast in the search bar. And you can join our private or public group. You can follow DJ Mikey Mike on his socials at DJ Mikey Mike on Twitter and Facebook, and at DJ Mikey Mike 45 on Instagram. And then you can follow me at hitmanddub on all of my socials. And then we have this thing called the DJ Collective Network. And from what I heard, we had some kind of interesting banter on some of the shows this week. So let me just remind everybody. The views and opinions expressed during the DJ Collective Network primetime shows are those of the individual hosts and guests of that show. They do not necessarily reflect the views or official stance of the different shows of the DJ Collective Network as a whole, its affiliates, or production partners. Viewer and listener discretion is advised, and that includes the people in the chat. I heard that there was some stuff. and I missed it. I usually catch it, but I'm just so busy. I missed it this week. But we have this thing called the DJ Collective Network, where it's one culture, many voices. Welcome to your primetime DJ lineup, a weekly schedule of live stream shows built for DJs by DJs. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, we got the knowledge, stories, and inspiration to help you level up. On Mondays at 9 o'clock p.m. on YouTube, at DJ Cool Thing Official. Welcome me for every DJ chasing dreams, no matter the odds. It's your time to spend with DJ Cool Thing. And then on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Twitch, join Buddy and his weekly guest panel of DJs for unfiltered conversations that matter. It's the DJ Roundtable with Buddy from TBM Productions. But if you missed the live broadcast, you can see the rebroadcast every Monday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on his YouTube channel at TBM Productions DJ1. And then on Wednesdays, make sure to make YouTube great again and join DJ James King for his King's Court DJ podcast at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on his YouTube channel at james.kinghtx. And he usually have a guest that joins him at the 9 o'clock hour. So if you want to talk about speaker reviews and gear breakdowns and tips to help DJs get better, make sure you join in on King's Court. And it's almost like he's dangling a carrot in front of me for the last 2 weeks. He keeps showing this red box, that DBX Rack Go. It's like I saw Brian do it. He did it a while back. And I was like, "Ooh, I gotta go get one." And then as soon as I decided to go get one, the guys at Sam Ash that said they just sold the last one. So I would like to have one, but I'm not going to spend 2 or 3 times more than the regular price was, or buy a used off the box one. But yeah, that would look interesting. But then on Thursdays, you have the Cue It Up DJ podcast at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel at the hitmanddub with me, the hitmanddub, and DJ Mikey Mike. And we usually go a couple of hours. But then at the same time at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube at LaRuckus Inc., you have the Start to Spin DJ podcast with DJ Pretty Boy and DJ Shay. And then if you're not doing anything on Sundays, you can join the KJ Chill Room with Matt and Eric. Or you can join them live on the KJ Chill Room at 7 o'clock on Mondays, just by going to djntv.com/KJ Chill. Now also, make sure to follow at _DJ Reese _. He has the Recreate the Vibes podcast on YouTube, and he talks about DJing in the corporate event arena. And then our other DJ friend, DJ Night Owl, he has this photo booth called the Mega Photo Booth. And if you need a photo booth that actually stands out, not the same basic setup, well, DJ Night Owl has you covered with the new Omega Booth. The Omega Booth has a sleek design, LED lighting, and an infinity mirror look that makes it perfect for weddings, parties, and whatever you got going on. If you want your event to feel different, this is it. And if you use our Cue It Up code of $500, then you'll be able to get your Omega Booth for $1,995. And then he also has this other thing called the Sigma Video Guest Book. And you can get it in red, black, or white at $795. And then if you're looking to update your website, or if you're looking for help with SEOs or business marketing, then DJ Night Owl is the person to go to. You can see some of his videos that spotlight those topics at DJ Biz School. So remember to like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels and videos. And our fade out message is, your workload doesn't shrink just because the guest list did. So it's like what we were saying. Just because the guest list shrunk doesn't mean that what you have to do behind the scenes or doing or after it changes. You're still providing the same service. So do you have any last comments before we head on out?
Again, charge, like you said, charge what you're worth. Charge a good amount. And if someone's coming to you and saying that they want to have a budget price DJ, you're not a budget price DJ. They're not your client.
And they were saying King's Court is on break until next week, by the way. But still, he has a whole bunch of videos up there. You can, just rewatch it again. Rewatch all of our videos. Okay, with
More
that
watch
said,
time, more money.
Yep. So with that said, I hope you all have a great holiday weekend. And make sure to go out there and crush those gigs. And hopefully we'll see you all next week, same time. So take care, stay blessed. And before I forget, remember, before it's time to spin, you got to first cue it up.
Before the lights, 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 before the packed dance floors, before the name queued up, would mean anything. Been hustling over 30 years, working every single day. Music wasn't just a job, it was built in my DNA. The journey wasn't overnight. Still figuring it out. Still figuring it out. There ain't no changing me. There ain't no changing me. I can only be me, me, me. The consistency stayed the same, even if they don't feel the same. Cause no matter how high I go, I'm still the same OG.